everybody, it's Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, here in my basement studio in Orono, Maine. And we don't have any snow anymore, which is like super cool because it's May 11th?
Yes.
Monday, May 11th, 2020. Alright, and every day at 1 o'clock, I've been streaming a drawing class since March
somewhere
17th or something like that. A long time, like more than 50 times. Okay? So today we're going to do a parrot, super colorful, super fun. Let's get going. Alright? This is where we're going to start. Do you see him right here on his beak? There's a line. Okay? That's what we're going to start with. And the one thing that's important about that is that you slant it a little bit. If you make it straight up and down, if you want it to be similar to this picture, if you put it straight up and down, it won't be as good as if you slant it a little bit. And you need to get it over on this side of the paper, but you don't want to run out of room for this. You see also maybe if I do it this way, if I take off the little tip of his beak, do you see how this is just a half circle?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so just keep that in mind, that's what we're working with, is just this little half circle like this. And what's funny is, if I went from here all the way around, it's a circle, okay? So this piece of the face is about the same size as that piece of the face. I have one that I use for painting classes a lot, and it is a circle, so it's really easy to start with, but this is the one I have for this. Okay, so let's start with that. I am going to start with a light blue pastel to do this part and to do most of this until I get to the line that's going to be the golden chest, the fur. No, I mean the feathers, because then I'm going to grab a yellow. But for now, this light blue will blend into all of the colors that I'm using, and so it's a good one to start with. You want to start with something light like that, like light blue. It could use yellow.
Green.
You could use light green, something light, or just a light touch. If you're going to work with charcoal or a pencil, just start out light, okay? Because you're going to want to adjust and move things a little bit, okay? All right, let's start. So I'm starting here, and I'm going to here. Again, I need to have, some space. So I'm going to go, and this is, if you look at this in relationship to the top of the page, it's up here, right? There's not a lot to his head. So we're going to go about right here. I think I'm going to start right about there. Alright, and then I'm going to go over this way. Alright, important, if you wound up losing some of this, or even losing the back of his head, it's not that big of a deal. But you don't want to not get his beak in there. Okay, so make sure that you've got room for that. You're going to connect from here to here, like this. Alright, and in the middle of that line, you have to think about it. It has to be right angles, okay? So that means that we don't want this to slant. Right in the middle of the line, you're going to draw a line from where his mouth is. And this is, let me see, if I measure that, it's about the same length. So whatever, say this is halfway, okay? If I measure from here to here, that's how far I'm going out. All right? Does that make sense? Looks like that. All right? I know sometimes when this line is slanted, it's hard to get this one at right angle to it, but just do what you can. So down here, I'm going to give a nice space from the side of the paper. I'm going to go here. I have to do it a little smaller. All right, but I want to have this line slant. And then I want this one to go right here. Looks like a sideways T, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I measure this. I got it. All right? Good so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now this right here, we're just going to round this. Round it around like that. All right. If it's too small, just make it a little bit bigger. Bring this line out in the middle a little bit more and go around if you think it's too tiny. I think I'm okay. What do you think, Al? I can't tell.
Looks good to me.
All right. It's the same thing down here. All right. So if I continued this line, it would come like right here, but we do have this piece that sticks out. So instead of just continuing it, what we're going to do is we're going to start here, and maybe I want to make a point where I'm going to have it. Do you see this little triangle right here of orange? Do you know what that's called, Daphne?
Negative space.
It's called a negative space. And this would be a time that you look at that little orange more in shape, and that tells you kind of where the tip of the beak is going to be. Okay? And you are thinking about having that space. So I am going to look at the bottom of my beak, and I'm going to say, maybe here. All right? And when I go from the top, I'm going to round out, and I'm going to round down to that dot. And then I'll connect it from here to here. And hopefully this little space looks something like this one does. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, you look at, this is even, below where the bottom of his beak is. So it's down here and out a little bit. But the thing is I want to round it. And remember, this is going to be black. You can't make it a lot smaller, but you can make it bigger. So change the shape of it if you have to. And then what you will do is just adjust the size of everything else. Like if you have to add a little bit onto the bottom part of the beak, you can do that too. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. The next thing we're going to do is I want you to see that if I draw a line right from this part of his beak right straight back, that's about right here, okay? So in this, the length to this dot that I'm going to make on this length right here of his cheek is about the same as this line we made, okay? Maybe a hair longer, a skosh. Is that, am I right or am I off a lot?
No.
Yeah, so measure whatever you did here, go over here like this, and then go just a little bit beyond it, all right? Okay? Now.
Okay.
All right. Don't look at any of this stuff. Look at this right here, that little white piece. And one of the things that happens is it doesn't come, the curve of his forehead, I mean, he has a little forehead. It doesn't go from his beak right into his feathers. Okay, if that happened, it would cut it off here. He'd be very flat on the head. But do you see how it actually, from the beak, it bumps up a little bit? Mm-hmm. And we want that. All right, so you're going to go right here, and you're just going to bring this up a little bit like that. And you see how it kind of curves down and then goes out and around to that bump. So we'll bump it, we'll bring it down a little bit like this, and then we'll just round it over to that dot. Okay, you want a pretty good size piece of white here. Okay, so what I did, again, I went up a little bit. I bumped it like a little rainbow. Oh, I didn't make the mark on this one. So I measure here, I go over like this, and then I go a little bit beyond. Like that. Okay? I measured the size of the, what would you call that? Where the beak opens. This line is where the beak
mouth?
opens. Yeah, I guess so. I'm going to here and I'm going a little bit more. And then I want it curves up. Do you see how this kind of bumps up? So that's what I want to do. I want to kind of curve this up and it's going to hit there. I love this parrot.
Me too.
I love parrots.
You do?
I mean, I wish we had birds like that around here.
Yeah.
Although my grandmother used to have a cockatiel that flew around her house.
Cute.
Yeah. Okay. And carry on. All right. So from now, what you're trying to do is this is relatively just a nice curve, nice arch. All right. And we're not gonna. I would have covered this up had I noticed, but we're not worrying about this change here. We're just gonna go right to the beak. So you can go this way or you can go this way, but we're going to round them like that. All right? Let me see how that is. That's pretty even.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Ready to carry on? Let's
Yep.
do the eye. Let's draw where the eye is. It's important. You don't want to forget the features. Just notice with the eye, remember we found that dot? All right, so straight back from this line of the beak is like right here. I'll make it kind of dark. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then from here, that's about here. So you notice that the eye is very close to the edge of this white half circle, but a little bit above that area. So it's kind of like right in here. And it's a pretty good sized eye, right? So make it big. You're going to outline it in black so you can always make it a little smaller. Okay. So I'm going to go right straight back like this. And then in this little pocket is where I'm going to put the eye. Alright, kind of quarter size maybe. Okay. Now time for the hair, the fur. I mean the
feathers.
Feathers. The top of his head. And some of the pictures that I have, the feathers on the back, they kind of make little triangles and they're like a little rough, you know, if, I don't know, maybe it's like a dog and gets its hair sticking up on end. And that looks kind of neat on your picture, so I might do a little of that, but you can make it super smooth too. Okay. What I think we need to figure out is that we want to get far enough out on the back of his head. I've seen this happen and like it winds up being here and then something's weird about it, alright? So we have a big piece right here, and this piece is about equal to the size of his face. So if we measure here, the size of the face, and then I just kind of put it over here, that's telling me that I need to get out to here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
Do we never start it?
No, we did.
Oh.
I just did your chargers. Never mind.
Yeah. Alright. Oh, I blew that. Okay. Measure here. I'm going to go over like this. That means I'm going to go to here. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. And the top, you know, if everything was just exactly the same, then I would just need to measure from the top. But I need to know how big this piece is, because that's what it really is, what that compares to. So let's see, if I measure this, it's, yeah, it's a little less than the size of this, which is actually that too. So it's a little smaller than what we have here. So if I measure this and I put that right here, I'm going to go a little, that'll make me right about here. I'm going to go a little bit lower. Right about here maybe. Okay? So that when it comes up, he's going to come up like this, and then he's going to go out to the back. A little flatter on the head. I can always add on to that, right? But I definitely want him to have a little forehead or it looks funny. I've seen it. Okay? Go that far and then stop for a second. Alright, and here I'm going to put it about here. I'm going to go up and out here. Okay? Then what I want you to see, depending on how big, how much room you've taken up, this is his wing, right? And it's an upside down like U shape, or like a rainbow. Okay? But it's a narrow rainbow. So we want to get that. And you just want to realize that, let's say, from the front of his wing, you know, is lined up about right around here. Okay? If you put it way back here, it's going to look a little odd, but if you put it here, it's going to look a little odd. So you look at, like, kind of his lower cheek and say, okay, well, let me see. If I went down to here, that'd be about right here. And then it's a little farther out than this line, so that's here. Okay, and then there's a space from here to here that we're looking at, let's say. This is equal to about there. So say I measure this, I measure this, it's going right about here. You can eye it up, but that would be, yeah, so that's the top of it. Okay? Just kind of sketch it in, and then take a look at it. You know, maybe hold up your paper in front of yourself and say, how's that look? Does that look even? Did I leave room for the yellow feathers? Does it get enough back here? And just adjust it if it needs to be adjusted. Okay, I wish I could see what you're doing, but I can't. So Although I am going to do a. All right. So what did I do here? I went from here and I dropped down to here. I went out from here. I went out a little bit wider, and then I said I need a nice space about here so that when I round this, I'm going to have that yellow. I'm going to do a Zoom paint and sip tomorrow night, so that's going to be a new option for anybody that, maybe wants to, do something that seems kind of like the usual life.
Not a public Zoom.
No, No, it's private. It's private. I don't know. I think one of the hardest things with, although everybody's stuck at home, but I was going to say in the past, the hard thing is getting people to be able to be available at the same time, you know? So I kind of think it might be a good thing to just plan with your own buddies, but I'm open to suggestions. I don't care. Okay, then I want to connect from here to here, and here to here. I'll add a little bit on that back. And then now I'm going to grab my yellow. And I'm going to see the chest, see how far it goes. It goes way out to where the beak is. It's out here. And it comes right off of this part. So fluff that right out there like that. Bring that bird's puffy chest right out. Okay? And let's continue with that. So just below, like kind of where we made that dot on the side of his face, that's where you're going to bring that yellow around. And I have a very warm yellow, and I'm going to use this a little bit, but I'm also going to use a lighter yellow because I want to use more than one shade of as many colors as I can get away with because I have them all in my box and I want to use them all. I have a favorite color, but I definitely appreciate all kinds of colors.
Mm.
This is big. Oh, well.
No, it doesn't look too bad.
Doesn't look too big? Okay. Alright, there's that. I'm going to grab another yellow. And again, just like when you're doing hair on somebody's head, or on their face, or on fur on an animal, the direction that you color it can help, make it seem more like hair or like feathers or whatever. Alright. I am going to, before I put the blues on here and the black, I'm going to address the background because I do like that orange on there. So I'm going to put a little orange on there before I do those other colors because I don't want the black to get mixed in with my orange. And if the blue mixes in, if the orange mixes in with the blue just a little bit, it's not really going to hurt any, just because they're opposites, they just sort of dull each other out. I want this little guy. So I'm just going to put a little in here. And I have this blue line, which I know I'm going to cover over with black in most cases, and then maybe some blue in some couple of places, but not going to be a big deal. So I'm going to do that. So if you're way behind, that'll give you a little bit of time to get caught up. And then you can do your background some other time, or you can skip it, or whatever. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I have some fun facts. Parrots can live to be 80 years old.
Wow.
And they like to live in tropical areas. And that's why we don't have them here, because we are not in the tropics. And they're omnivores. Do you know what that means, Stephanie?
They eat animals and plants.
That means they eat everything. Omni is everything. And so I was like, what kind of meat do they eat?
Bugs?
Yeah. Yes, bugs.
You thought they were chowing down
I just like
on
when
a
it
nice
said,
steak.
Well, I suppose they could eat a mouse or something, but I was like...
Eagles do.
The bigger ones might, but my first thought was like, do they eat chicken?
That seems like cannibalism.
Do they feed them a hot dog? What do they give them?
Oh, wow.
I was like, nope. Alright. That's pretty bright. I'm going to tone that down just a hair. I'm going to save that one. I'll take this little tiny stub of a white and use it. And where's my paper that has my fun facts? Oh, this is awesome. Because they said apparently they will lick you. They're very affectionate.
Lick?
They actually will lick you because they like you and stuff. And they want to show you that they like you, and they lick each other a little bit and stuff. They're very social and charming. That's why apparently they make such great pets, because they're just naturally, maybe because they live in warm places, so they're just in a better mood. Birds around here are probably like, I just went through the whole winter scrabbling for food. Don't try it. I'm not gonna kiss you. Don't kiss me. So anyway, they do, and they will lick you a little bit. But said that not to kiss them unless you kiss them on the beak. And it said no French kissing because your saliva can give them infections and stuff like that.
I just don't think that you should do that anyways.
I thought it was the other way around because I always hear that birds carry diseases, but
humans are filthy.
But yeah, and everybody knows that humans have dirty mouths. Everybody knows about that. Yeah.
Everybody knows.
But it's like you can kiss them, but you have to kiss them on the beak.
But with no tongue.
No tongue.
I know. What's the point then?
No tongue kissing your carrot.
Too late.
Not funny. I didn't expect to see that. Let me see, what else do I have? I only have one other.
Oh, are you saving it?
Oh yeah, I'll save it for a minute. Okay. Let's do the color of the feathers. And so if you want, you could make yours a gray one. Not a gray one.
That wouldn't be any fun.
A green one.
Oh.
But they are a little different. But you can, so there's green here, dark green, very, very dark green. If you look at this and squint your eyes, you'll see that, this area right here is almost as dark as this beak. So if you go with a nice dark green there, that'll help give it shape. It's also super dark blue, like right here, which is what I'm going to do. And then it has this nice sort of cobalt blue on there, and a little bit of lighter green. So you can blend the greens and the blues any way that you want to, and you can put that on there. All right? I'm going to do the two dark colors first. Here's the dark green, and here's what I'm going to use for dark blue. Okay, so it'll help. It helps to give it shape and definition, and it will make it better to look at when you see it from a distance. You've got to have some darks on there. You've got to have something dark. Okay, and if it's just the beak, then the beak becomes kind of overpowering. All right, and again, I'm going to color in this direction. All right, like that. Little things up there like that. And I'm going to come down here. What happens if you mix green and yellow together, Daph?
You get lime green.
Yeah, you just kind of change the shade of the green, so it's not going to be a problem. Okay.
All right.
Okay, and then I'm going to use a little of this darker blue here, and if I kind of go a little jig-jaggedy as I go up against the yellow, it'll kind of give it that feathery look. I'm going to put some nice blue here. I'm going to do that over my. I like the idea of the feathers sticking out a little, so I'm going to put that here like this. Okay, and then I'm going to put the darker bit kind of like right in the middle here. Like that. Like so. Alright, and then I'm going to use my favorite color, which is this. I'm going to put some of that on, and that's going to be my transition from green to blue.
Great choice.
Yeah. Like that. I told you can use all kinds of colors. Okay, and then I'm going to use a lime green, which is this one, which is the light green with lots of yellow in it. Okay. I had a wonderful Mother's Day, and we did a little class on drawing different kinds of faces, which has some tips. Okay, so and there's 4 different, varieties of mothers that you can combine in different ways to draw faces. But you could listen to it just to draw faces if you want to. Oh, I want the light blue. But it was good. It was fun.
I had a good time.
Yeah. I gotta post your dad's picture of his mom because it's awesome.
Very cute.
And Daphne here made me, a stunning portrait with great skills and love. But I also have a picture that my son did of me when he was in high school, and he doesn't take drawing very seriously. But it, no offense, Daph, but I love them both. So you don't have to make a perfect picture of somebody unless the person, you know, that you're making for is super critical. And if they're super critical, then don't make it for them. Make it of me. If you don't want to draw your own mom, draw me. I would love it. I always wanted to do that with my classes. Was like, it's my birthday. I'm gonna have. Actually, when I turned 50, I was gonna do that with all my classes that week. Was make them draw me, but I was a little bit too narcissistic.
A little bit.
A little bit. Oh, I forgot all about this guy down here.
You did forget.
All right, so here I'm just gonna think a little bit. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. Did you hide the? Oh.
We have, if you love birds, colorful birds, there's a nice toucan class. Kind of, if you look at the playlist on YouTube under free drawing classes with Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, there's down near the bottom, because it was pretty early on that we did a toucan.
Yeah.
Those were the first 10 of them. So, that was a fun one. That was a good one.
The puffin's kind of colorful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not like these things. Oh yeah, I gotta bring this way a little bit. Okay. Oh. Oh yeah, and Ruby made me a great portrait too. And hers makes me look just like Gina Davis. Which is what people used to say in the 80s when I used to wait on tables. And they'd be like, does anyone ever tell you look like Gina Davis? And I was like, I don't look like Gina Davis. Not that that's a bad thing, but I didn't think so. And then this picture Ruby did of me looks just exactly like her. And it does look like me, so I guess I do. We just watched Thelma and Louise not too long ago.
About a little over a month ago.
Okay, well, let's pull this pair together, all right? Let's do the color in the eye first. So you want something lighter. I mean, it's kind of a seafoam green. I'm just going to use, I don't have anything there. I'm just going to use a lighter green, I guess. That'll be fine. Okay, pick up the blue a little bit when I do it. Okay, it's a pretty good sized black dot in the middle, so I might leave a little of that there just so I don't have to color over. Okay? I want to make sure that I have a little bit of gray or get the light blue.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
Wow, I threw it perfectly into your hand.
Especially if you're painting or you're just really going wild, if you draw this whole beak pure black, it's gonna look a little heavy. And we want it to have a little bit of glow. See, I don't know if you can see, but it's a little bit lighter here. So if I take a little, you could do it with white, you could leave a little white highlight on it. But I'm gonna use a little bit of light blue here and a little extra right between where the mouth opens up. Okay? And when I go over that with the black, it'll look a little bit gray, or maybe it will look blue, and maybe up close you're like, this looks a little weird, but when you set it back away from you, that's what's going to give the beak a little bit of shape, okay? Yeah, I guess we're ready to put the black in there, right? Okay. I need this, and I need a black, what happened to it? Oh, here we go. This will work. And then we're going to do this stuff with a face, which is not as tricky as it looks. I want to go over this blue line that I did, the very first line that I did in the picture. I want to go over that one, okay? And I'm going to go around. Is Holly watching?
I don't think so.
All right, well, Holly, I bet you're going to watch later. Let's see. People are busy today on Monday, and it's beautiful out here today.
It is.
We gotta get out of the house. I built a fire, and it doesn't even do any good, because it's still cold down here.
Yeah, but I bet it would be colder.
They would definitely be fuller, trust me. I also did some of my exercises. Warm things up a little bit. Do I need to go over that blue, or is that okay right from there?
Yeah, go over it.
Go over it a little bit? Okay.
It looks like a very harsh highlight.
Just a little. I can always add it on top, too. Just a little something so you can... There we go. Black, 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 black.
No, he's taking his test.
Alright, down here. This one I'll leave a little bit of white. We'll see how that looks. Oh, and my last fun fact was that, did I say about Alexander the Great?
No.
That the parrots were originally in Asia and Africa, and then in 300 years, well, what was it? 3-something BC. Although I don't know if that's how you say it now. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
You just don't say AD anymore. That's something different. Well, anyway, Alexander the Great brought them to Greece. And they became very popular.
Cool.
But it didn't say about the United States. I'm sure it's just...
Do we have any native parrots?
Oh, I don't think so. But that wouldn't have been native. I don't know. Maybe they did let them go. I don't know. I'll have to ask my friend Greg DeMoulis.
It's been a while since he's been to Greece, I bet.
Whether parrots actually just fly around in Greece. I don't know. Alright, let's see. I'll lighten that. I'll darken that just a little bit. Just a little piece there. How's that highlight look? Does that look too big?
No, it is shiny.
Okay, a little something there. Alright, let's go to the eye. So you want to outline it. If it's kind of big, go on the inside. If it's kind of small, go on the outside. If it's just right, just go right around the outside. Give it a nice black ring, and then a pretty good sized pupil. Okay, if you leave a little bit of white behind, it will give a little bit of life. Like a zombie parrot. All right, and so if I'm doing it with pencil or something, what I want to do is smudge it a little bit first, and that'll give it a little bit of gray to it, and then I'll make sure I get the nice black, and then I'll do the highlight. Tomorrow, we're gonna do, I can't think of the guy's name.
What are we? Oh.
We're gonna do this, it doesn't look very good, but, Frederick Edwin Church did this beautiful painting of, Mount Katahdin, like at the nice, beautiful sunset kind of thing. And we're gonna do that tomorrow.
Can't
It's gonna be
wait.
awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful, and then Bulldog on Wednesday. All right.
Exciting week.
Yes, it is. All right, we're ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next thing, let's do the nostril. Okay, so that's a line like that. All right, easy peasy. Up there in that little spot where we left that little bump. Okay, now, the lowest, you just want to not look at too much of this, okay? We're looking at this first piece that's going to go along the white jaw and next to the yellow, okay? It's a nice thick line, and then there's a piece that goes across. The important thing is that this line is pretty low from where the eye is, so you can fit a couple of other stripes. It don't have to be exactly like this. But don't look at these guys right now. We're looking at these, which are basically 3 stripes that go horizontally below the eye, okay? If you do something like that, it will be fine. These are pretty thick. They get a little thinner as it goes up towards the eye. So what I noticed when I was drawing it is that this piece isn't huge. So bring it, go up about maybe to here. Okay, and then they're meeting, and this is just below maybe the eye. If I go just below the eye, they're meeting all of them kind of right about here. Okay, so I want to keep a line, a black line. It can kind of be zigzaggedy or jaggedy down like this. Okay, you start with that. Whenever you're doing something and it just looks complicated, just take a piece of paper and cover up what you don't need to see, and just see the thing, because you can do it. But sometimes you just need to not get distracted by or overwhelmed by too much. Okay, just break it down. Alright, so I'm starting at the dot and working my way down. That way it gets a little thicker as it gets towards the bottom of his jaw, kind of like that. Okay, so like we're trying to fit 3 little stripes across below his eye. If you can get 2 on there, if you can get 4 you need to have, do it. Do it, whatever it takes. Okay, and sometimes they're in little pieces. They're not a straight line particularly. So if you've done a straight line, you might want to just go back and kind of, zigzag on it a little bit. It has a little piece kind of like that, and then maybe a little more that goes right out here like this. Okay, I'm going to kind of go over this blue line I have here, just because I do have one on the show. Okay? So we start right at that little spot. Okay, I hardly have any room from his eye to where his nostril is, so I don't have hardly any room to make the little dots that go up. But they're just a skinnier version of stripe, but it goes up and down. So just put what you can fit in there. It's not going to matter, right?
Right.
Who cares? Right? It looks good just to have it on there. And these are a little bit smaller. It's one of those things, just let nature lead you. You did a great one of these parrots way back when you were in high school, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
I think I have it maybe upstairs.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to fork this one a little bit. Okay. The only thing that's concerning me is that this yellow and this orange are so close in color, and so what I'm going to do is this. I want to have one of them darker so that I can see the yellow a little bit better. So I'm going to take this darker version of orange. You can see how that works if I get a little darker. Because a lot of times, when you step back, you're like, wait a minute, what happened? I don't see any. I can't see the face anymore. I can't see, I don't know, the clouds in the sky. And I said, well, maybe your cloud needs to be a little lighter and your sky needs to be a little darker. And you can see. See how that makes a difference? Okay. What do you think? Good?
Looks beautiful.
All right. Well, all of you that are out there watching, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you're available, if you're not, you can always watch them on Facebook anytime. And they're on, like I said, on YouTube. Maybe making a donation. You can click on the link that's right below the video, and that'll take you to ValerieWallace-FineArts.com, and that is my website. And that'll be the ticket page. It'll take you right to it. And yeah, I'm also available on Venmo at Valerie Wallace-9. Okay? So I will close out this video with a close-up of the parrot so that you can pause it on there and take your time and finish things up, as much as you like to. Okay? All right. Well, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see. Actually, I'm not even... There we go. Stephanie Paul! How are you? Down there in Rhode Island? Hey, Sue. Dory? Some of my friends I went to RISD with. How cool. My mother, Dave Pickering, my mother, my sister-in-law. Hey, Bethany. Oh, that's so nice. All right. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to other people. Be understanding. That's all you can try. Try anyway. If you can't, you can't. But try. Okay. Bye.